We have been in the boat 12 days now.
12 days, okay.
This is officially the start of our 12th day.
All right.
There's a lot of things we've learned about continuous cruising. All very exciting. All very fun. Cleaning the mud off of everything all the time, whilst it's not fun, it's sort of a fact of life. Another fact of life, which is even less fun, is what we have to do this morning. Narrowboats, there's 3 basic ways you get rid of your human waste. The first one is you have a tank, it all goes in there, people pump it out at various points along the canal system. The second one, all sorts of alternative composting, burning your poop, stuff like that. And the third one is known as an LSAN. Ours is a Thetford toilet. And all this is, if you've ever gone to a concert and used a porta potty, it's a very small version of that. There's a little cassette that sits underneath the toilet, and you just do your business into that.
Yes, little being the operative word.
Yes, very tiny. Because we were given 2 when we rented this boat, which is awesome.
Thankfully.
Yeah. A lot of people I've seen, when talking to other cruisers, they use between 2 and 3. So that's fine. Well, we've reached the point where we have run out of cassettes and now we have to empty them.
Yes, so this is a milestone for you, babe.
Yes, because I get to do the dirty work, literally dirty work. So let's go take the last one out and take it across the bridge to do our business after doing our business. Here is the one we've already used, and you can see they're quite deep. This one lasted us a week, I think. So we need to pull this one and get it out of the way, and it's very heavy. And then this is the one that's under the toilet. Obviously, the bathroom's on the other side of this wall. Now, here's the thing. This is a catch you have to use to unattach it from the toilet. And that closes up the seal so it doesn't spill everywhere. So you pull that up, and it just slides out. And soon, after much faffing about, let me go open the back door, and so we can just put them right on the deck.
Okay.
All right, so I think the trolley is in here. And voila, I think that's what this is meant for.
Understand, there is no guide. No how-to book detailing how this is supposed to be done or what the process is supposed to look like. We're pretty much winging this.
All right. We are ready to go, baby.
Okay.
It's sloshing.
Do we actually know how to do this?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't.
Actually, I think this, there you go, comes off, and this is where it gets disgusting.
I'm not getting close to that. How's the smell?
Not good. Oh!
Oh! Oh, did you just get splattered?
That's why I'm not wearing my jacket.
See, this is the difference between what you think is going to happen and actually happens. Because in my head, I thought you just pour it out and get over that disgusting bit and you don't have to rinse it. So I guess that's where I'm wrong.
I mean, do they have rinse stations, rinse hoses at every one of these? This is only our first one.
Exactly.
Maybe this is a luxury Elsan. Because we are paying for it. Not free. Wow!
Still bits coming out.
That was pretty clean, though.
It was clean. We're going to do one more
Okay.
because there were a couple of bits coming out. Looked like my wife's. They were petite.
So that went a lot better than I thought it would. I think because it's an open air Elsan, the smell wasn't overpowering, because that seems to have been the biggest challenge for people I've seen do it on YouTube when they're in closed rooms. So that was good. And honestly, it didn't matter if anything got anywhere, because like you were standing in the middle of a yard. So that was good. But when I was cleaning this, I just kept it open and everything emptied a lot easier, because obviously there wasn't a vacuum at that point.
Oh.
And the second one cleaned in a fraction of the time as the first. We rinsed the first one out so many times. But yeah, so that's what I would say. And you might want to take something with you. I've seen it before and I'll watch the videos again, but just to clean it out with something like glue or whatever on your last rinse. But that's it. I honestly, and you will have to come back and ask me what I think when I have to do it in an enclosed Elsan, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
A new day and something completely different. The clouds have broken, sunshine has replaced the rain, and it's February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
So we have to do something special.
Well, good morning. That was an adventure.
We've decided to visit a historic market town synonymous with the narrowboat world, Banbury. But without a car, we need to get creative. We walk to nearby Deddington, which is a fun day just on its own. And then catch a bus to Banbury.
So here we are in Banbury, and we figured since we couldn't get here by narrowboat, in the next immediately few weeks, we would actually just come and check it out by foot.
Yes!
And the bus station drops you off right at the most interesting part of the canal. In other words, it's called Castle Quay. And this, I believe, we're going to find out, but I think this is where Tooley's is located. And when you see all those beautiful shots of people moored right in the town center, I think this is it, but we're going to find out. So I always say this, but today I'm serious. Make sure you have comfortable shoes. Bring water and have comfortable shoes, because there's a lot of steps. We've already done 5,000, and we only just got here.
And we didn't bring any water.
And we did, yes. We got this canal water, which we've been drinking, by the way. And aside from the growth that I have on my hip, I'm perfectly fine.
Initially built on the west bank of the River Cherwell, there have been people living in the Banbury area since 200 BC. The town still enjoys a small Saturday market. It's said Oliver Cromwell used the historic market town of Banbury as an operational base during the English Civil War. And this pub, the Reindeer Inn, was used to plan troop movements and also functioned as a courtroom for royalist trials. The landlord of the pub was nice enough to show us around the famous wood-paneled globe room. And what about this door? If you're in the area, you should definitely check it out. We need to head slightly out of town for a couple of well-known spots. This amazing statue brings to life the classic nursery rhyme, Ride a Cock Horse to Banbury Cross, in spectacular fashion. It actually stands across from the famous Banbury Cross. Look, it's here, right in the middle of a very busy and very loud roundabout. And we do find Tooley's Boatyard, along the canal where we started our day. We're lucky enough to meet David.
Hey, there's David and Wendy.
Who walk us around this narrowboat legend.
This is our cruise boat. So throughout the season, we do trips on weekends, Saturdays usually, and then the boat's available for hire for long trips.
I'm sure you know this, but Tooley's was the oldest continuous working dry dock in the UK. It was used to build and repair the wooden horse-drawn narrowboats which regularly traveled up and down the then newly constructed Oxford Canal network, way back in the late 1700s.
So we're tired. We're very tired.
How many steps have we done?
We've done about 12,000 steps today, which is 6 miles. And this one here decided to go down some stairs, 14th century stairs, mind you, on her bum. And we think she may have slightly twisted her ankle because it's starting to get a little sore. But it was a good day, right?
Babe, is this like an Oxford Canal issue? Because I did hurt myself last time we were on the Oxford Canal.
You did.
And Wendy jumped ashore to hold the center line and hurt her knee and hurt her ankle. So she's limping around today, and we want to keep her off her feet because we have 2 days left on our vacation, our holiday, to actually explore Oxford itself. So we want to make sure that she's able to do that because we're going to be on our feet all day. So if you see Wendy lounging around today, it's not because she's lazy, it's because she's resting. She's an invalid. Be nice.
As a matter of fact, she's thinking about using the straps for her ankle from that twist last time on this one.
Well, that's because by the time we got to Oxford and bopped around, I needed it, and you went down to the high street to buy it from Boots, and so they're the most expensive ankle and knee braces that you could possibly do. So I kept them, and I brought them, and I packed them, and so I might be using them again.
So we hope you had a good day with us in Banbury. It was awesome. We're looking forward to coming back with the narrowboat. And I think our Uber is going to be here in 1 minute. Yay!
Yay!
We took you through using the facilities at Aynho Wharf on our last narrowboat adventure. We need to do them again, and we do have a treat for you. We put up the drone just to show you how challenging the short cruise across the canal actually is. Phew, made it without hitting any other boats. Just checking the drone is still there. We're just washing clothes and taking our showers on this stop, so instead of showing all of this, we'll leap forward to an even more challenging but much needed maneuver. We have to leave Aynho Wharf in a few days, so we're going to use this opportunity to turn around, or wind the narrowboat, so it's facing the correct direction. But it's not a typical winding hole here. Instead, an exceedingly tight rectangle area, surrounded completely by moored boats. We've been told the term winding, and yes, that is how it's pronounced, came about from the horse-drawn narrowboats using the wind to help them turn around. Last time we did this at this winding spot, we pulled in and backed out to turn around. For whatever reason, I've decided we'll back into the spot first and then turn around. Maybe I really did drink directly from the canals. We're not sure how long this will take, and quite frankly, I don't need any distractions, so we don't have the drone up for this. It took us just over 23 minutes to completely turn the boat around. Well, that was close. We have a lot of stuff to do before we head out. This is a great spot for Tesco's delivery, so let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. And the drivers get to see just how much Wendy loves to overpack.
Do you want to put water in the same one there?
Sure, she'll make me carry it.
Yeah, that's
All
for
right, then.
him.
That is very, that's going to be very
That's going to be really heavy.
I guess I'll carry the rest.
And one last visit to the Great Western Arms for good drinks and even better food.
All right, it's our last night in Aynho, and we are coming here to the Great Western to treat ourselves for being in lockdown. While we couldn't go up, and we didn't want to go any further north and get stranded and the whole 9 yards. So we're about to head back down to Lower Hayford to get in the boat for a little bit while we do some stuff. So tonight, we live like kings and queens, and most of all, we have a toilet that works and flushes, and we have heat that we don't have to worry about our battery powering.
If you're ever in the area, you really should check out the Great Western Arms. We love it. And before you know it, it's time to leave our muddy mooring. But before we go, one more quick stop at the facilities. After all, who passes up a perfectly good water point, even if it's just a top off?
Okay, so where have you been? We have done so much while you've not been here, and it's sort of embarrassing for you, not us. So we got up this morning, and we thought we were going to shoot straight over to the facilities, and then someone came in and took them before us, which is fair. They're public facilities. That's the way it works, right? So as soon as they got off, we leapt over, and even though we didn't need it, because the very smart people paying attention will know that we just emptied our L-sand, or did the toilets and everything. So yeah, we did everything, filled with water, emptied the toilets. Wendy did the recycling. And yeah, it was good. We have thoroughly enjoyed our time at Aynho Wharf, but I'm happy to be moving. Right?
Yes, we were starting to get a little stir crazy.
We did.
We explored every town within walking and/or bus ride from here, and we explored plenty of muddy towpaths just walking to get out. But we've been here 14 days, and it's rained almost every single one of those days, except maybe for about 3.
Right. And for those keeping track, because I know this was a big deal on one of our posts on Facebook, we were there exactly 14 days. As a matter of fact, technically, if you do it from hour of the day to hour of the day, we left early.
Are you getting defensive, baby?
I'm just saying. I feel vulnerable at this point. Everyone knows what social media is like, so they can probably appreciate. So the plan of today is we are going to slowly but surely make our way back to Lower Hayford, to where the Viscount lives. The rental company, who have been awesome, even before we picked up the boat, they have been above and beyond with their customer service. Are willing to watch the boat for us for a week because we have to go back to King's Lynn, Norfolk for some family stuff.
So they are graciously going to babysit our temporary home that we love, and we appreciate it and thank you.
Yeah, so
if you ever watch this, thank you.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. So in between now and then, 2 things are going to happen. We are going to stop off at Somerton Meadows again. That was my choice. I'm like, I want to do it. And Wendy goes, okay, I don't know what this obsession is. And then we are going to stop off hopefully around Somerton Deep Lock, because we don't want to show our hands because we're not sure how much we can tell you. So we got something special that's going to happen there, we think. And then we'll end up down in Lower Hayford. Do you want to take over, babe?
Oh, driving?
Yeah.
Oh, steering?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been so long.
If you don't want to, don't. I just think this would be nice. You got it?
Yeah.
Clear.
And of course today, because we were filling up at the water point, I decided to have a full shower, which includes washing my hair, which takes a hot moment. Haha. And anyhow, so I have wet head, which is not a good thing to have when you're outside in the cold. So, yeah. Whoop. I'm going the wrong way.
If you want to follow along this, albeit short cruise, grab your favorite canal map book and look on these pages. Here's a bridge to see exactly where we are.
I'm going to hit this overhang, but that's fine.
It's better than hitting the bridge, right?
Yep, it is.
You rock!
As I almost got pegged by a...
Wendy seems to be chatting to someone at the locks. Could the thing we hoped would happen actually be happening? I'm going to find out.
So who are you with, Wendy?
I am with Richard, who he and his family bought this cottage and are restoring it.
Only the most iconic thing on the Oxford Canal.
So I feel like Michael Jackson here for a moment. I've got one glove on at the moment, so it's one glove I can only hit. So we bought this 18 months ago. It was about to go derelict for the second time in about 30 years. So in a moment of madness, we bought the cottage because we thought if we don't buy it, you know, it might have problems again. And then I always get in trouble from my wife talking to guys like you. Because she's doing the washing up, I think, at the moment or whatever. And yeah, where have you been? I said, well, I met friends of mine. But it's lovely because this time of year, really, really quiet and peaceful. And I can spend 3 days here and not a boat come through. And dog walkers and deer and kites, birds flying in the sky. But then in the summer, we can have 6 or 7 boats queued up both ways and people getting a bit cranky.
Yes.
But in the summer, either at lunchtime when everyone stops for lunch or particularly in the evening, once the sun is sort of setting, you know, a bottle of wine might come out and come out here and it's like heaven on a stick. So,
No kidding.
so that's what we do. And we're in the just started a 5-year restoration of the cottage. Because it's grade 2 listed as the lock is, so we have to spend a lot of time being really sensitive with materials and what we can do. And it seems a bit weird, but what we're going to do is take the front porch off because the front porch isn't original. If you go back online, I can send you the photographs. 60 years ago. I'm getting in trouble.
She's like, come on, we need to go collect our stuff.
So the porch has to go.
Yeah.
And we take it back to how the original lockkeeper's cottage would have been. And you can see, perhaps you can see the top little windows, both ends have got little windows in them. So the lockkeeper could see the boats coming. So 24/7, the lockkeeper had to have the lock ready for a commercial boat coming through. So both downstairs and upstairs have got these little windows, so you can see, like a railway station, you can see straight down the lock and see a boat coming. And yeah, as I said, in the once the boats are finished, we've got 2,100 acres around here of nothing, and it's lovely and quiet. And yeah, no power, no water.
So tell us about your awesome Facebook group you started.
Oh, okay. So we've got a little Facebook called, I think it's called Friends of Somerton Deep Lock, if you want to link to it.
Yeah.
It's a small group. It's just people like yourselves who pass through here. And it's a good community because if something's either not right with the lock, and it could be something here, I can say, I can give you a hand and fix that, or I can let the CRT know if they're passing through. And they're just local people who might come through regularly, or they might come through once in a lifetime. And we've got, we've had Germans, Norwegians, terrible thing, Australians even, American. We've got, you know, all nationalities come from, you know, all around the world, just pass through here, and they'll say, what a great spot. And off they go again. So it's a sort of, it's a meeting point, and then it's like an airport, off they go again.
Nice.
So just like you guys, I don't know how many times have you been through here? About
this will be our third going through it.
Third, yeah. And it's different every time. Seasonally it's different. Water conditions, everything is different. But the lock stays the same. It's 230 years old, I think, the lock structure, and our cottage is about 20 years younger than that. So our lock is about 1810, I think, because they didn't build. Apparently, they didn't build the lockkeepers' cottages until the canal itself became commercially viable.
Yep.
And it's worthwhile to pay or have a lockkeeper here to make it more efficient.
Right.
So we reckon this is about 20 years younger than the actual lock itself. So this lock is about 1792, I think, when this when this first connected and started to work. So
That's amazing.
and a lot different from your summer visit through here as well.
Yes.
Completely.
So
Well, first of all,
now we've got the
Definitely
gloves
not
on.
hot.
first, my wife's still speaking to me
Is
this
she?
time. So,
I think-
although the day is young.
It's very interesting because I see it all the time. The funniest thing is, our kitchen window, you can't see it, but it's around the other side of the front porch. And we get these fantastic people coming up through the lock. You get these fantastic arguments with he said, she said, blah, 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 blah. They're 12 foot down. Up you come in the lock. And I've got the window open doing the washing up and I say, hello. Because they've been going at it and I'm about, 3 meters away from them, and it can be rather embarrassing, but it can be very funny as well.
So not only are you trying to save the most iconic building along the Oxford, you're a marriage guidance counselor.
Yes.
As well. Yeah, but sometimes you think, I'm not going there, and you just turn back and do whatever.
That is
And
so funny.
also people passing through, it's so good because they'll invite you to join. If I give them a hand, we go up and have a glass of wine with people and just get to know them. I wound up, the day we took possession of the property, I wound up helping an Australian couple through and discovered that she went to school round the corner from where I used to live in Melbourne, Australia. She used to walk past my house, I reckon about 56 years beforehand.
Oh, wow.
She used to walk past my front door, and here she is in the middle of, not in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Oxfordshire.
Yeah.
And she grew up in Melbourne, Australia, and wound up just passing through here as well. So
That's crazy.
it does happen.
6 degrees of separation.
It
man.
does, yeah, and it's like that. And so, we've only been here 18 months or so. If I don't get on with the washing up in a minute, I'm going to be...
You're going to be in trouble.
So I want you to know, I knew you were an awesome dude by you just saying swing by on Facebook, because
Yeah.
I think that's very canal friendly.
Well, it's good because
And I thought that was
when
nice.
people get stuck, when we've got high water here, people are stuck for drinking water. That's one of the
Right.
problems that they had. And if they, drop something in the canal or they're short.
Yeah.
And, have you met Bob the Barge?
No.
Bob, so Bob is one of the bargemen who deliver
The
coal.
fuel guy?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yes,
have.
we
Yes, we
did.
have met Bob.
And
yeah.
they're great. There's an honesty involved in terms of, they'll leave gas or coal or wood or whatever's for people. So there's a great amount of trust here. And also on the canal, we're in the middle of nowhere. We've never had any theft or vandalism or anything like that at all, because
Good.
people are essentially good.
Yes.
There are
Yeah.
some odd people, but essentially this is a very good
Yeah.
place
Yep.
to be on, but people that you either see regularly or you'll never see again. That's the really weird thing.
It's Casablanca.
It is, yes. And you think, I recognise you from, hang on a minute. And then you realise that, and then you realise that there is that connection as well.
Wow.
So next time you're passing
Yeah.
by, I'll have the kettle on.
Yeah.
But drop me a line, drop me a message, and we'll make sure that I'm here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And we have gas and coal and a bit of fuel for the generator.
Well, Richard, this has been better than I thought it would meeting you.
Good.
This is really cool.
That's coincidental because in an hour's time you'll be that way and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm in deep trouble because I missed out on the washing up. So
Yeah.
Well,
I'll give you a hand getting the boat through. And see you next time.
that was so cool. That was so much fun. Love canal life. Love people on the canal.
We think we may have just met the most interesting person on the Oxford Canal. Now, we have a lot to do.
Now, one of the things I am going to have to be careful about, which we did not have to worry about coming up, which is the sill marker, which is behind me. And basically, sill markers, well, sills and locks are usually at the higher end of the lock, because the lock is all about you go from one level of the canal to another, right? So in this case, we're coming from a higher level, about 12 foot something, down to another level. Well, they don't want to dig the higher part of the canal all the way down, right?
So what they do is the lock sits on like a piece of concrete, and there's always a white line there, so you know where it is. If you don't pay attention to that, what happens is when the water goes down, I shouldn't make light of this because it's horrible when you see it, pictures of it.
You okay?
Yep. When the water goes down, the narrowboat will literally get caught.
You don't have to get close to the sill.
The narrowboat will literally get caught on the sill, and the back will tilt up. And it tilts up, depending on how deep the lock is, it'll tilt up so much, water will come in the bow. Pretty crazy stuff. You see the pictures, your heart just stops. So, and you heard Wendy telling me, hey, stay away from the sill. See, this beauty is you can be as close to the front lock because there's no water coming in. All the water's going out on the other side. So, and we have a good, gosh, maybe 4 or 5 feet here between us and the sill. So, but it is something to remember.
Just like that, Wendy knocks out the deep Somerton lock. What a superstar! Welcome to Somerton Meadows, my friend. We hope you enjoyed your short but interesting cruise.
So this is why we wear our waterproofs even though it's not raining. Yeah, because all this would be on our jeans otherwise.
Yep, there's a reason this spot is so popular. It's amazing. Coming up next time, we get to see winter creep towards spring.
We just came through Baker's Lock.
Yeah, so now we're on the Cherwell.
And what did that nice gentleman, what was the adjective he used?
Docile.
And yes, we finally make it onto the River Cherwell, opening a world of canals to explore. Thank you for joining us on this narrowboat adventure. It's been incredible having you along. You need to stick around. This adventure brings us one step closer to our very own narrowboat. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of our narrowboat adventures, why not subscribe to this very YouTube channel? If you click the bell icon, not only will you be alerted when we publish a new adventure, you can be one of the very first to see what we're up to. And who knows what that'll be. Until next time, my friend, travel well and be safe.